Reaching carbon neutrality is the most important challenge we are facing today. It will be an extremely difficult task because it requires transformation in multiple sectors of our industry. When considering the renewal rate of the fleet of combustion engines today, it appears that only offering new fully electrified vehicles will not be sufficient to achieve climate neutrality by 2050. We often forget that electrified vehicles cannot be deployed in the same manner everywhere. A car is a long life and expensive investment for people. A full technology change, as anticipated, requires even more. The economic power to purchase a more expensive vehicle, as well as access to sufficient charging infrastructure, so that the mobility requirements of our citizens are met. And beyond this, sufficient amounts of green electricity should be available to power such vehicles. All these criteria are not generally fulfilled when looking at European countries. This means that the progress in electrification that we currently see is not what we can expect to continue for the next 10, 15 years, because it is heavily paid by incentives and addresses to customers who, to a very high degree, have to ensure charging on their own premises and or have access to conventional vehicles as well. As a result of the promotion of electrification alone will not be sufficient and will not be an efficient way to achieve carbon neutrality. All solutions to reduce and eliminate CO2 emissions need to be used through various technologies today and in future. This is what Mazda calls the multi-solution approach. We want to offer the best suited solutions for the decarbonization of transport based on multiple technology approaches. High investments in an international framework will become necessary, and this requires, of course, a long-term horizon to make these investments pay off. We need the capability of e-fuels and all other clean fuels to be acknowledged in the CO2 standards legislation, and we need it to be accounted in the CO2 targets achievements for the OEMs. The crediting system, as today presented by Frontier Economics, offers a very practical, sensible solution to this accounting of renewable fuels towards decarbonization of mobility. Having a crediting system for such fuels will enable all investors and all industries to take a role. It provides a clear horizon and certainty for the investment. From a car manufacturer's perspective, this opens an additional way to support the transition and to reduce emissions from road transport, in addition to the massive investments we are making to electrify our fleet now and in the years to come. A crediting system for renewable fuels in cars and vans will contribute to promoting these fuels more broadly and build economies of scale for their use in all other transport modes as well. This will ensure that the environmental benefits of such renewable fuels are fully delivered and their market share reaches a critical mass. The crediting system, as proposed, is fair and transparent. First, it doesn't allow for double counting. Distributors of renewable fuels and car manufacturers have to declare whether the fuels will be counted towards the red targets or towards the fleet targets under the CO2 emission standards regulation. Either or, no mixing up. And there is no blurred responsibility, as we already heard. Car manufacturers continue to reduce their CO2 emissions by putting zero and low emission cars on the market and by buying credits for renewable fuels. Fuel producers continue to meet their renewable energy targets and put clean fuels on the market. They only receive support from automotive investors to do so. For the customer, it means that the new fuels that make their cars greener will not be prohibitively expensive. CO2-based taxation of fuels and the incentive from the crediting system will make it attractive to contribute to decarbonization of mobility.